But going down to Mirabeau, Rosberg made a bit of a mistake, locked the brakes up and went down the slip road. That meant the yellow flags came out, and Lewis Hamilton was caught in those yellow flags and in the end had to back off, so his lap was gone as well.
So yellow, yellow, turn 5. Yellow, yellow, turn 5.
Yeah, that was very good of him. Very good.
On his controversial lap, he pulls over, still to miss this dip in the road because the car would bottom out there. Pulling across to the left, he leaves half a car's width to the barrier. Now that means that there's not quite such a good line into Mirabeau. And as he turns in, he locks the right front brake up. Now he's having a bit of indecision in the steering wheel. The car won't turn, he's heading for the barrier, and then he decides to turn left and go down the slip road. Now the stewards have had a look at this. They've decided that he was on a faster lap. He was going faster at that point in the corner. He did put on the brakes that little bit later, and they've no penalty basically. The grid position, pole position for Nico Rosberg, second for Lewis Hamilton stands.
Lewis was a little bit wide on the way into Eau Rouge, and it cost him. He had to get out of it at the top of the hill, and that's why he needs to go defensive. DRS not in play yet, but Hamilton hasn't got the grip that Rosberg has got.
Oh, and to be fair, Hamilton has actually got more of a front wing now. He's got a puncture Lewis Hamilton. Nico Rosberg's lost a bit of front wing, and for the first time this season, we've seen the two Mercedes drivers coming together. Collision into the chicane. It's Hamilton who comes off worse, trying to defend his lead, whilst Nico Rosberg thought he had the move made.
And he's miles away from the pits. He's so far away from the pits.
Nico hit me. Nico's hit me.
Diff mid 12, diff mid 12, copy that, Lewis. So diff mid 12, diff mid 12.
He is going to have to limp back round about 3 miles to the pits.
Nico Rosberg in second place this year. The trophy is presented by Jean-Claude Lafont.
Well, Nico, an unenviable first for you today to be booed on the podium. Do you understand why they did it?
They're British fans, so yes, I do understand, and that's not a nice feeling for me because I do respect their opinion. And all I ask is actually that they really prepare themselves well before having such an opinion. Because, for example, by reading the regulations, you know, and really understanding what is the code of conduct for us drivers out there, you know, that's what I would ask. But all in all, anyways, I think that was a small minority out there today, and it was just the British fans that were here, and all the other people were excited, I think, to see a great race, and yeah. But of course, for us, it was a bad day as a team.
Yeah, because Niki Lauda has been fairly vocal in blaming you for it, and Toto has called it unacceptable. Do you feel, therefore, that you owe the team an apology?
I don't know. First of all, I don't know what they've said in detail, so I don't really want to comment on that. And also, in terms of apology or not apology, I haven't even seen it. I need to see it before being able to go into any such detail.
So the incident's been described by some of the experts as clumsy or inexperienced, not cynical necessarily, but neither word really describes your style of racing, clumsy or inexperienced.
I was quicker, and I wanted to overtake, and I went for it. The inside was closed up, so I went around the outside and tried to go for it. And then, unfortunately, we touched.
What, you believe the overtake was on?
Well, I definitely tried, yes, and I was alongside.
There were 2 turns of the steering wheel, one after contact. Why was that?
One after contact?
Yeah.
Well, because it probably, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but I don't know.
So you need to look back and reflect, and then what, go into a debrief and have a chat with everybody?
Yeah, of course. After such a difficult moment for us as a team, we do have to, we're going to have to sit down for sure, yeah, and go through it.
And who do you think will take the lead on this? Because there are obviously 2 team bosses, but one person has to really stand out.
It is Paddy and Toto who are leading this team for us, and Nicky is consulting, you know, or not consulting. He's a bit more in the background, helping out in his role. So it will be Paddy and Toto.
So just to clarify, you don't think you were at fault?
No, I'm not saying that at the moment. I haven't seen it yet, so I need to look at it. I don't have an opinion at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much. Lewis, what's your take on the contact that you had with Nico?
Well, whilst I was driving, I didn't really understand what happened. I felt quite a big thud at the rear, and then I just watched it on the replay just now, and I mean, I gave the guy space. I don't really understand, but you know, it's just really gutting for obviously for the result, but also really for the team. You know, my guys, they work so hard every weekend, and we've had such a tough year. The guys that are on my side of the garage, but just generally in terms of the whole team, and this is not good points for the team. We could have easily had a 1-2 out there today, and so it's just an overall not a great feeling. But
when you hear the crowds booing and you hear that Toto and Nicky are both laying the blame squarely at Nico's door, how does that make you feel?
Doesn't make no difference really. I didn't finish today, so that's what really counts.
It's interesting that you said you wanted to retire. It seems to go against what we know of you, that you'd continue racing at all costs. Why do you think you did that?
It's not a give-up thing or anything. My car, I don't know if you've seen my car, but I had lost probably at least 40 points, so I could do nothing. I was driving the arse of the car, and the thing was all over the place, and I couldn't catch Romain Grosjean, so it doesn't even matter if a safety car came out. I wouldn't be able to pass the people that are in front. You know, Sutil was pulling away from me. So what my thoughts is that I already had an engine that's burnt up in the last race, so I may have lost one engine. So I have one engine less than Nico already, which puts me on the back burner already for the next few races. So I was thinking, let's save this one so I can use it for the next one. That's my thought.
Very clear thinking under pressure, though, from you to feel that.
Well, at the back, I'm not under pressure. I was trying to catch up, but I wasn't really under pressure.
Okay, so how should this whole situation be handled now, do you think? Are you going to go and speak to Nico?
I don't have... it's not my job to need to handle it. I'll keep doing my job with my engineers, and now I'm 30 points behind, or whatever it is, 29 points, so whatever it is. So it's going to be made it even harder.
Who will take control then of the situation?
I assume the team. But I would assume the team, but, you know...
Who specifically?
The bosses. The bosses, Toto and Paddy.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Where's the Stetson? Can I go?
We are waiting for the instruction.
Nico gets an equally good start to his teammate Hamilton. On the run down towards turn 1, he slips into the slipstream of the sister car and makes a brilliant move around the outside. Now, this is proper racing, and Rosberg was on fire there. He did it just inch perfect. But this is where something seems to go a bit wrong for him. During the corner, looking at Hamilton's onboard, you see that the rain light starts to flash on Rosberg's car. Now, what this is when the car goes into harvesting mode, just coming up here. And at this point, round about now, so there we go, Rosberg starts to react to it. And just go to the full frame at this point. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll just rewind that for you, just so you can see what goes on. So he reacts to the rain light. The hand goes down and makes a switch change. Then he presses a button on the top left and then looks in the mirror as Hamilton's making his move, and that puts him onto the grass, and we all know what happens afterwards. So we'll go to the full frame.
So here he goes then, Lewis Hamilton wheel to wheel with Nico Rosberg in towards turn 2. His teammate's got the inside line, they've touched again. Hamilton runs wide, and is he going to come onto the track and touch his teammate? He's now got damage, Nico Rosberg, to his front wing.
A dramatic conclusion to the Austrian Grand Prix saw Mercedes teammates Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg collide as they battled for victory. But how did it come about?
My brakes were on the edge, just getting too hot, and they went into passive mode, so the pedal changed quite a lot on that last lap, so that makes it a lot more difficult.
So Rosberg was having problems braking, while Hamilton was on a different tyre strategy, and his soft tyres had better performance at this point than the super softs on Rosberg's car. So Hamilton was closing fast as they began the final lap. Here's what happened from his perspective.
Nico made a mistake into turn 1, clipped the inside curb and went wide, and I got a good run up on him. Up to turn 2, he blocked the inside, and the only place I could go was down the outside. So I was on the racing line and I went very wide, left him plenty of room, and as I started to turn, I was at the edge of the track. He collided with me, and then I came back onto the track as quick as I could, and it was very close between us there. And if he did have the brake problem, that'd be the reason he lifted off really early down the next straight, which we were racing on.
But was it just his underperforming brakes and tyres, or an aggressive defence of the corner that led to the collision?
It was a bit of both. I mean, for one, I was struggling to slow the car. Well, that's the main one, really. Just struggling to slow the car. But anyways, I'm on the inside, and I have it's my position, and I have the corner, and I have the right to dictate the way.
But the stewards disagreed, taking a dim view of Rosberg's racing line. If we have a look at Rosberg's line compared to his previous lap, it's easy to see the difference and how much wider he runs. The stewards handed Rosberg a 10-second penalty and 2 points on his licence for failing to leave racing room for Hamilton and causing the collision, as well as a reprimand for then failing to stop in his damaged car, as Max Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen both took advantage and swept by into the podium places. So Hamilton took the win, with Rosberg 4th, cutting his championship lead to just 11 points. With tensions high, all eyes will be on the 2 Mercedes drivers once again when the action gets underway at the British Grand Prix this weekend.